Have the Golden State Warriors just uncovered another hidden gem in the second round? First, it was Trace Jackson Davis. Then came Quinton Post. Now, out of nowhere, Will Richard, the guard from Florida, steps onto the scene. And let me tell you right, now his first appearance in a Warriors jersey has a lot of people raising their eyebrows. In a good way. This wasn't just a kid getting a few garbage minutes. This was a full-on audition, and the man showed up. Now let's rewind a bit and understand how he even got here. The Warriors originally had the 59th pick, but they weren't satisfied. They moved up to the 56th. That might not seem like a huge jump to the casual fan, but in the second round of the NBA draft, every spot counts. Every slot is a potential diamond in the rough. And the only reason they even had the 59th pick to begin with was because of another earlier trade involving the 41st pick. Yeah, there was a lot of front office shuffling behind the scenes, and honestly, Warriors management deserves credit for making those chess moves. Now you might be asking, who is Will Richard, and why should I care? Well, if you watched him at Florida, you already know what time it is. This kid was a dog, all hard hustle and raw potential. A two-way threat who can shoot the three and clamp down defensively. He stands at 6'4", but has a wingspan of 6 foot. That kind of length for a guard. That's a problem for opposing offenses. And guess what? He didn't waste time showing it in his first game in a Warriors uniform. Even though it was just Summer League, I get it. It's not regular season. It's not playoffs. But if you're going to make a name for yourself, this is the stage to start. These are the proving grounds. This is where you separate the ones who are just happy to be here from the ones trying to take someone's spot. Against the San Antonio Spurs in Summer League action, Will Richard clocked in 25 minutes, the most of any Warrior that night. And though the shooting numbers weren't elite, 3 of 10 from the field, 2 of 8 from deep, the impact was undeniable. One of those 3-pointers came in a clutch moment, cutting the deficit from 4-1 with under 30 seconds left. The other pick and pop beauty in the second quarter. And he almost hit the go-ahead 3 in the final seconds too. Rimmed out. But you want your guy taking that shot, especially a rookie trying to make noise. Let's not act like Summer League. Stats are everything though. What matters more is how a player looks. The feel, the confidence, the energy, and Will Richard. He looked ready. He looked like someone who had been waiting for this moment since March Madness ended. He hadn't played a game in 3 months since leading Florida to a title over Houston. He hadn't been able to practice with the Warriors because of all the paperwork and trade logistics. But he showed up and didn't miss a beat. His final stat line, 16 points, thanks in large part to his flawless performance from the free throw line. 8 of 8. He also added 4 rebounds, including 3 on the defensive end and 1 on the offensive glass. Threw in an assist, picked up 2 steals, and posted a team-high plus 13 while on the floor. Not bad for a debut. Not bad at all, especially when you consider the Warriors were one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the league last year before late season. Surge! Now they go 23 for 28 from the line as a team, and Richard leads the way with perfection. Love to see it. And I know what some folks are already saying. Relax, it's just Summer League. Yeah, it is. But you don't draft or sign guys just to blend in. You want to see them stand out, even if the setting isn't the NBA hardwood. At Chase Center in April, you want to see why the scouting department believed in them. You want to see the flashes. Will Richard gave us those flashes. He gave us glimpses of what he did at Florida. Slashing to the rim, pulling up in transition, fighting through screens, sticking with his man on defense, and letting that wingspan do work. Let's talk about some of those plays. His first bucket as a Warrior came on a fast break. Got the steal, pushed the ball up himself. Little dribble hesitation, soft finger roll off the glass. Easy money. It looked like something straight out of his college highlights. Then you've got him trailing in transition, catching the ball at the top of the arc, rising up for 3. Splash. Pick and pop. Shades of Clay. You love to see that in a Warrior system. There was also a moment late in the game where he curled off a screen, caught the ball, and rose up with no hesitation for a catch-and-shoot triple. That's what the Warriors offense is all about. Constant motion, smart reads, and being ready when your number's called. Richard looked like he's been studying the system, even if he's only been around for a few days. And while we're at it, let's not ignore the defense. This is where he could earn real NBA minutes. At Florida, he had 22 games with At least 2 steals, including 6 games with 3 or more. That's elite defensive awareness. That's effort. That's instincts. And in this Warriors system, which can sometimes get stagnant on offense and overly dependent on Steph Curry's heroics, having a guy who can force turnovers and generate easy transition buckets is huge. It changes the rhythm, it shifts momentum, it gives the team a different kind of identity. Even the coaching staff noticed. Coach Lane Wilson was asked about Richard's performance and praised not just his on-ball effort, but also how locked in he was off the ball. That's key. Too many young players get caught ball watching or drifting out of position. Richard, even in his first outing, was rarely caught slipping. Sure, he's aggressive, and that might get him burned once in a while, but the coaching staff say it loud and clear they love working with guys who bring that kind of energy. That's the kind of guy who earns a rotation spot, not just a two-way contract. And it's not like Richard was the only one showing promise. Isaiah Mobley, another name that keeps popping up, had himself another strong game. He's athletic, he's playing smart, and he might be playing his way into a two-way deal as well. Then you've got LJ Cryer hitting shots looking smooth. Jackson Rowe, not his best outing, but the expectation is still high, especially considering he spent time with the main roster last year. Some other new names got their first taste of summer league action too. Armstrong didn't play again, despite some talk about rotation changes. And Tui, he's still not eligible due to that massive 17-team trade that finally became official. Once the dust settles, maybe he'll get a chance to suit up. But right now, the spotlight is on Will Richard. It's only one game, yes, but it's also the first impression. And he made it count. The Warriors lost the game, sure. But that's not the story here. The story is the emergence of another young player who could be part of the next wave in Golden State. A player who looks like he fits the culture, the scheme, and the energy this team is trying to maintain. And when you hear him talk about meeting Steph Curry and calling it a top 3 moment in his life, you realize what kind of dream this is for guys like Richard. These are players who grew up watching Steph cook defenses, who probably tried to mimic Klay's shot in their driveways, who studied Draymond's intensity and IQ. Now they're sharing locker rooms. That's motivation. That's hunger. The schedule ahead gives Richard a few more opportunities to shine. After playing the Spurs, the Warriors have one last matchup at Chase Center this time against the Miami Heat. Then it's off to Vegas for the big summer league show. They'll take on the Trailblazers, Jazz, Grizzlies, and Raptors on alternating days. Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. If they win enough, they'll punch their ticket to the Summer League playoffs. That's when things get a little more competitive, a little more real. That's when guys start making real cases for training camp, invites, two-way contracts, or even a back-end roster spot. And based on what we saw in his first showing, Will Richard might just be one of those guys. Now, as we head into that Vegas stretch, this is where things start to get real for someone like Will Richard. Because once you've shown a little bit of promise, the expectations go up. Suddenly, it's not just about flashes. It's about consistency. Can you defend multiple positions night after night? Can you make the smart read when the ball finds you late in the clock? Can you hit open threes with tired legs and still fight over screens on the other end? Summer League may not be the NBA, but it's a pressure cooker for young guys trying to make that leap. Every possession matters. Every mistake is a lesson or a reason to get cut. But from what we saw in that first outing, Richard doesn't look like someone who's out of his depth. He looks like he belongs. And that's big for the Warriors because, let's be honest, Golden State needs to hit on some of these young pieces. We know the core is aging. Steph Curry is still playing at an unreal level, but he can't do it forever. Klay is gone now. Draymond is still the emotional heartbeat of the team, but his body has taken a beating over the years. So the team needs fresh legs, new energy players who can step in, learn the system, and eventually contribute at a high level. It's no longer just about finding veterans to fill gaps. It's about grooming the next wave. Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga are part of that process. Podziemski too. Now we're talking about the next tier down. Guys like Will Richard, Isaiah Mobley, LJ Cryer. Players who might not be first rounders but can absolutely carve out a role. And that's what makes Summer League so compelling if you're really watching. It's not just pick up ball with jerseys on. It's where rosters start to take shape. It's where guys get their foot in the door. And with someone like Richard who's already displaying the kind of maturity and versatility coaches drool over, it's easy to see a path forward. Think about it. A 6'4" guard with a 6-foot wingspan who can switch defense, shoot threes, and move without the ball that's tailor-made for this system. You don't need him to be a superstar. You just need him to play his role and play it hard. And the chemistry you could see is starting to build already. There was a play late in the second quarter where he cut baseline, received a bounce. Pass on the move, and immediately found an open man on the wing for a three. That kind of decision making. That's not normal for a guy who hasn't even had a full week of practice with the team. That's a player with high basketball IQ who understands spacing, timing, and trust. He wasn't forcing the issue. He wasn't trying to pad his stats. He was hooping the right way, and defensively, man, he was everywhere. There was a stretch in the third quarter where he switched onto 3 different guys in the same possession, closed out, hard rotated back inside, and ended the play by tipping a pass that led to a fast break. That's the stuff coaches watch on. Film and circle with a red marker. That's winning basketball. And again, it's not like he's been in the system for months. He just got here. The trade paperwork wasn't even finished until a couple days before the game. He hadn't been cleared to practice. He didn't know his teammates, and he still came in and played like he belonged. Now the question becomes, what's next? Because one solid performance is nice, but this league is about building momentum. He's going to have to do it again against Miami, then again in Vegas. And if he keeps showing flashes, you better believe he'll get a closer look in training camp. The Warriors don't have a ton of roster spots open, but they're always looking for depth, especially cheap depth, especially players who can play on two-way deals and contribute when injuries hit or when the starters need rest. But here's the thing, Will Richard doesn't look like someone who's just trying to hang on. He looks like someone trying to break through, and you can't teach that mindset. You can't fake that hunger. You either have it or you don't. He has it. Let's talk about the structure of the rest of Summer League because it matters. After the final game at Chase Center, the Warriors will play 4 games in Las Vegas, 1 every other day. They face the Trailblazers, the Jazz, the Grizzlies, and the Raptors. Those are not easy matchups. Each of those teams is loaded with young talent trying to make the league. It's going to be physical. It's going to be fast. It's going to be messy. But for players like Richard, that's a chance to show how you respond when things get chaotic. Can you still execute the game plan? Can you keep your composure? Can you make the right reads under pressure? If the Warriors make the Summer League playoffs, and they'll need to rack up wins and have solid point differentials to qualify, then we're talking about even more exposure. National TV, primetime games, more eyes, more scouts, and more opportunity to separate from the pack. That's what's at stake here. Not just for Richard, but for every player on that roster trying to make a name. And speaking of other names, Jackson Rowe is someone the team expects more from. He didn't have a great outing last time, but the coaching staff is going to give him another shot. He played with the main roster last year for stretches, so the bar is higher. LJ Cryer is another one turning heads. Smooth shooting, stroke confident. Decision making looks like he belongs. Isaiah Mobley, we already mentioned, but man, he's got bounce, he's got feel, and he's earning serious consideration for a two-way. Toy still hasn't played because of the trade eligibility situation, but once that's cleared, he's someone people inside the organization are excited about. Same with Armstrong, who hasn't played yet, but should get minutes soon. It's a deep summer league team this year, and the internal competition is pushing everyone to step up. And that brings us back to Will Richard, because here's what's wild. This guy hasn't even hit his ceiling yet. He's still raw in some areas. He needs to tighten up his handle, needs to make quicker decisions off the dribble, needs to continue working on moving his feet on defense against quicker guards. But those are coachable things. Those are reps and film sessions and practice habits. The unteachable stuff, the length, the instincts, the effort, the willingness to defend, the confidence to shoot big shots, he's already got all of that. And if you're a Warriors fan, you gotta love what you're seeing because we've seen this story before. A relatively unknown guy shows out in Summer League, earns a two-way deal, gets a few call-ups, and next thing you know, he's part of the playoff rotation. It's happened here, and it could happen again, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's still work to be done. More games to play, more chances to grow, but Will Richard's name is officially on the radar now. He's earned that. And if he keeps showing up the way he did in that first game, he might be wearing that Warriors jersey for a long time to come. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Rumors are swirling in the basketball world as Damian Lillard was recently spotted arriving at the Golden State Warriors headquarters, sparking intense speculation about a potential blockbuster deal in the making. Known for his loyalty to the Portland Trail Blazers, throughout his career, Lillard's unexpected visit to the Warriors facility has fueled a firestorm of chatter among fans, analysts, and insiders alike. The Warriors, a franchise synonymous with championship glory and a superstar-studded lineup, have been on the lookout for a game-changing addition to complement their core group. With Lillard's elite scoring ability and leadership qualities, the possibility of him joining Golden State could reshape the NBA landscape entirely. Sources close to the situation hint that the meeting could be about negotiating a mega contract, one that would send shockwaves through the league and immediately position the Warriors as favorites once again, while nothing has been confirmed. Officially, the timing and location of Lillard's visit are hard to ignore. Golden State has been linked to several high-profile names over recent seasons, but landing a player of Lillard's caliber would represent a monumental coup. Fans have taken to social media to express both excitement and skepticism, debating how such a move would impact team chemistry and the Warriors' championship prospects. Damian Lillard has built a reputation as one of the NBA's most clutch performers, with a career defined by breathtaking buzzer beaters and unwavering dedication. His style of play meshes well with Golden State's fast-paced, high-efficiency offense, making the prospect of him donning the Warriors' colors tantalizing for basketball purists and casual observers alike. Yet questions remain: what would Portland receive in return, and how would this affect the balance of power in the Western Conference? As the buzz continues to build, insiders caution that contract negotiations of this magnitude are complex and often fraught with uncertainty. Still, the very fact that Lillard is physically present at the Warriors' headquarters suggests that serious talks could be underway. If a deal does come to fruition, it could trigger a ripple effect of trade signings and shifts throughout the league, with Golden State aiming to cement their dynasty for years to come. For now, all eyes remain glued to updates from both franchises as the basketball community eagerly waits to see if this swirling rumor will materialize into one of the most significant moves of the offseason. Damian Lillard at the Warriors. It's a tantalizing possibility that could redefine the NBA's future. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news, subscribe to our channel, and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates. On the Warriors, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.